Hi, this is Ken Gidge, and this is the art of politics, and oh God, do we have a lot to talk about. If you remember the last time I was sitting here, I was arguing for Barack Obama, and I was beat up, I was slandered. I mean, it was awful. In fact, they said what they were going to do, were going to get rid of me. Ken Gidge, Ward 6, they were going to get rid of me. Ha! They didn't. I won. But my friend here, no, I'm a Democrat. And what happened was, whatever happened, Obama wins and brought a lot of Democrats along. And what happens, a lot of Republicans lost. I should say came in second. And my partner over here, which in a moment I will introduce him, has to understand something. This is his show too, The Art of Politics. He and I are going to have a better opportunity to put different shows together, not necessarily right here in this room. The Art of Politics is Dave Robbins and Ken Gidge, and it's not going to be anything else unless he dies or somebody kills him. So, on that note, I want to introduce you to my partner in crime, who is still state representative.
Thank you, Ken.
Okay.
Thank you. I am Dave Robbins. I am a state representative for another 3.5 weeks, and then I turn into a pumpkin. But by God, I'll be here. And it was an interesting election season. The voters are never wrong.
Yeah, they
are. The voters are never wrong.
Yeah, they're wrong.
No.
Not with you.
The voters are never wrong.
Yeah, they
and
are
I think I want to talk about
Okay.
that. But why don't you do
they're not wrong.
Why don't you do a quick wrap up on what's the House going to look like? What's the Senate going to look like? What's the county going to look like?
Okay, us here in New Hampshire, I believe it's 217, and there's 400, so one could figure out that we have the majority again.
You do. You do. The Democrats have the majority. Actually, I think it may be a little higher than 217. I think it's going to. I think it's 22. Yeah, I think it's going to be 222 to 178, give or take a recount that may still be going on.
Oh.
So you're going to have about a 40, somewhere between a 42 and a 44 vote margin.
If people, you must remember that the Republicans had what is called a supermajority. That means basically 297 to 103. That means they could do anything they wanted to do, and they did everything they wanted to do. I think, and obviously a few other people thought, they went a little too far. Now, we have the majority, but it's not that much. So us as Democrats, well, can do a lot, and probably a little bit more than the Republicans, but we're not going to go far from the road. We just have to stay, Democrats have to stay sort of in the middle, and we all have to work together this time. This time, we really have to work together. And when anyone has 297 votes against 103, you don't have to work with anyone. And
well, there's a lot in what you say, but let's quickly, we've got, there's a solid Democratic majority in the House of Representatives. The governor is Democratic. Both the U.S. representatives are Democratic. The Senate appears at this moment to be 13-11 Republican, and the Executive Council is 3-2 Democrat. So there is divided government. There will be, just barely. And
not by much.
Not by much. And I think the key to this, from what I'm beginning to understand, or what I think, is that a lot of pressure is going to come on the Senate. A lot of pressure is going to come on Republican senators.
That's right.
To make
get something done.
That's going to be where the power resides, in the sense that the Senate is going to make the difference. The Democratic House is going to do what the Democratic House wants to do. The governor is going to do what she wants to do, and the key is going to be in the Senate. So this is going to be a heck of a term.
Yeah, but I think a senator would really have to dislike something not to go along with it. I mean, really dislike it. Whereby, when you have a House of Representatives, some of the senators were really arrogant, and some of them are not there, and I can tell you that. Some of them, one of them, this is a fact. I had a bill a teacher's bill. and this was a protection of teachers bill. And it went into the Senate, and they didn't vote for it, but they took everything out, and they put his material in it. So when you read it, it was the number, or I'm not going to give you the correct number, let's say 1270, in Ken Gidge. But it was what the senator wanted.
Right.
And I'm going, what are you doing? Don't do that. Well, I have to because they wouldn't pass it this way.
Right. So what happened was your bill was essentially hijacked.
Hijacked?
No, that's the term.
Taken,
That's the term.
yeah.
No, it's hijacked. What happens is it gets into a committee or it gets into the other body, and the bill is completely gutted, and new language is substituted as an amendment.
The whole bill.
That's right.
The whole bill. It's just gone. My name is on it.
That's right. So there can actually be legislation passed that you might violently oppose, but it's got your name on it because somebody hijacked it. There's nothing you can do.
And people could use that during an election.
Absolutely.
That you vote. So that's part of something I don't like. So when I say arrogant senators, this guy's gone.
Well,
and I'm really happy.
All right,
because if you want to know the truth, if he was a senator, believe me, 4 rabbits and a chicken could be a senator as good as him. I just made that up.
4 rabbits and a chicken.
I just made that up.
I like that. I like that. At least, and would they get 5 votes? I
don't know how rabbits and chickens count.
Well, you know how rabbits multiply. My God.
Yeah, well.
But okay, so we've got this potentially divided government, which I think is a good thing, and in the county. And the county is very important, as we know. I mean, that's a lot of money goes into the county budget. It appears as though all of the 3 county commissioners were reelected. I believe they were. And in Hillsborough County, we have a new county attorney coming on board.
Yes, we do.
Patricia LaFrance, who was right here just before the election.
She was
and we
a beautiful woman.
Don't start off with beautiful.
Let me finish.
Oh,
a beautiful woman who very intelligent, happily married, and a prosecutor. Yeah. That's who we need up there. And a lot of Republicans voted for her. She's a Democrat.
Yeah.
Did you vote for her?
I voted for all Republicans with the exception of 2.
Who?
I'm not going to tell you.
Why? It's over, David.
Yeah, it's over, and my vote is sacred. Where's the camera?
What's this sacred? You just said that.
My vote is sacred.
What is it?
My vote is private. It's personal. Whoops, I'm covering my microphone.
Oh, God. Private and personal. So you won't tell me?
No, of course not.
I mean, after the show's over, you won't even tell me? You must really dislike these people. Did they do something to you and made you vote for them, or?
No. I voted freely, and I voted my conscience all the way up and down the line.
How could you vote for Romney? Your conscience?
My conscience.
Oh, my God. Look, it's over now, guys. Don't have to stick up for him. He did some awful stuff, and at the end, when he goes to the call it the Motor City, and says that because of the bailout, they now have to make Jeeps in China, and everyone who is there in that state are going, oh no, and then the unions and everybody had to come out and say, no, we're not going to do that. And why did he say that? Why would anyone say such a thing like that? You tell me. Was that a moment of a mistake?
I can't. I don't know.
Was that a well, you're in politics. Was that a calculated move to sort of neutralize the people, the automakers, so they would vote more for Romney?
My sense is that in the political sphere, when somebody knows that they're being watched or listened to, virtually everything is calculated.
Excuse me. This was in an ad about Jeep.
So
this is not a private thing.
Ken, listen to what I said. It's calculated. It was calculated.
Okay.
I was saying it was calculated.
Calculated.
I don't think.
Why?
I don't know.
Well, the idea is nobody can figure it out, even the Republicans. For this man to turn around, especially he's not going to get, the automakers. I mean the people who work there, saved 1 million jobs. He's not going to get their votes. But for him to turn around and make that comment that Jeep is going to be made in China, it went on the radio, it went on TV, in that part of the world.
Why do you think he did it?
Some people, I can only, I'm like a professional too. I mean, after all, I'm a politician and I've been in this, so I'm kind of a professional at it. I should know. But what the smarter people than I said it was a desperate move.
Might have been, yeah.
It was an argument that they had within their, campaign party thing that they've got to do this, or thought they could do this, or maybe they could. It was like McCain. I'll give you Kerry is a good example, but let me give you one what Bush did to McCain. They're on the same stage, and up comes some soldiers, and there's McCain there, and they're both running for the presidency. All right? Excuse me, not the presidency. They were running to be the party's nominee.
Right.
And standing right there is McCain and Bush. And Bush, they're on a stage, and Bush's people come up, say they're from World War II, and called McCain a bad soldier. He didn't do anything in the war. And the fact is, he was where? Imprisoned by the enemy for 4 years. And Bush didn't turn around and say, hey, that's not right. That's not good to do. And basically, he's asked Bush later. I saw him on a TV show, and Bush said, I had nothing to do with that, and looked away, got away with it. So when you say, why did they do that? I think this was a calculated. Maybe we can do the same thing we did to McCain. Maybe they could do the same thing that they did to Kerry, who truly was an individual.
Voted.
Yeah.
Yes.
He truly was an individual who was basically kind of a hero in a way. With the stuff that he ran, one of his people got shot. They pull the boat up to the shore. He gets out with a gun and chases him through the woods. Yeah. Now, that ain't the smartest thing in the world to do. But if he's running this, it shows that he's a leader, maybe a little crazy. But a lot of these crazy people have got some awfully large medals. But to attack Kerry, to attack McCain, I think that fits right into the same thing.
Well,
it's a calculated risk.
I do agree. I think that at that level, and we're not talking our level or even the state level, at that level, people have people who have people to advise them and talk about it, and it's virtually all people who have people.
Oh,
it's virtually.
By the way, where did your beard go?
My beard went the way.
You didn't want to talk about that. You said, don't talk about it.
No,
But
you
said people, and I had to break into a song.
Well, let me just.
And that's how you get out of it. Okay,
I'll tell you my beard thing in just a minute. But I think that you're raising an important point. This is so scripted. It's like the debates. There were no debates. It was people giving their stump speeches back and forth. It's all very scripted and obviously cost a lot of money. And I'll tell you something. The people have made a clear decision up and down the line. And President Obama... Now, wait a minute. Let me finish. Okay. President Obama was reelected. In this state, we have a turnover in leadership up and down the line pretty much. And I am, they've spoken. I'm listening. I am going to work within that and go forward. And I know you will too. Now, having said that, my beard.
Oh, well, wait a minute.
You asked me about my beard. I want to
get back. You didn't quite finish the Jeep thing.
Well, no, I don't.
Do you think that was a stupid, calculated mistake?
I think it was calculated.
You don't think it was stupid?
Stupid in the political sense? I don't know, Ken. It didn't. Whatever it was, it didn't work.
Okay,
Ken, it didn't.
Well, hold on.
No, wait a minute.
It didn't work. So if it worked, it would have been okay.
Ken, I'm not going to go back and argue this. Romney lost. And you know what? Based on what happened, he should have lost.
Well, I'm a little surprised. I think that Jeep thing was one of the things. Also, I've got to tell you, Christie, I mean, you know, Sandy and, you know, Governor Christie really needing assistance, and the president calling them up and saying, you don't even have to go through anyone to get to me. Here's my real number.
Right.
And I guess he probably used it a couple times, and, you know, things happen quickly. Mm-hmm. And Christie came out and said that. And then he was interviewed by because he's obviously Republican, and he pushed, you know, Romney, and he said some awful things about the president. But he's on this really odd, you know, the very odd Republican show where all Democrats are evil. And he said, if you think that politics falls into this with my state the way it's in, you don't know me. And when he did that, I said, you know, I'm going to send that guy a small check next time he runs, and I'm going to tell him why. Because that was the important, that's a leader.
All right.
Do you agree he's a leader?
Let me, well, he is because he's governor. Let me toss out
No.
wait, Ken, let me respond.
Okay.
Wait a minute, you're giving up too easily. What's going on here? What did you do with Ken?
We're both on medication, for God's sakes. I mean, come
I'm on the uppers, he's on the downs.
No, I'm not on. Let's not start that.
All right. I'm working toward 2014.
Okay. So you're attacking me?
Of course, yeah.
All right, nothing's going to change.
I'm practicing.
Okay.
Two ways to look at Christie. One of them was, and I choose to look at it this way.
You can look at him as big.
He's big.
He's a
big guy.
You know, elephant.
The
Christie.
guy said he did the right thing. He said, "Look, politics. Screw politics. The people that I'm governor of this state. My people are hurting. I'm going to do whatever it takes to do that. And the president deserves credit because he reached out. We're working together. That's wonderful." Now, here's another way of looking at it. Christie's running for re-election in a year. I'm going to tell you about
That's another way of looking at it.
That's another way of looking at it. Christie's
like that.
Christie's running for re-election in a year.
Yep.
He's positioning himself. He's got to be a leading candidate now for 2016 as a possible nominee.
Got to lose weight.
Now, wait a second. Let me finish.
Got to lose a lot of weight.
I'm almost through. If Romney won, he wouldn't be a candidate in 2016. And I'm not saying that he purposely went out of his way to give the president a little bit of a lift in New Jersey, but the opportunity was there. So I think you can look at this two ways. And I also think I'm almost done.
I disagree with you that he did this to position himself.
Ken, consider this. We just agreed that almost everything that happens in public and politics is calculated.
Look, yeah, except the storm came up and ruined his area as a governor, and that's not calculated. And what he said was just what a leader says. Screw politics. At this particular point, my people are hurting, and if you think politics makes a difference now, you're very wrong. And that's what he said. So he's got to be credited. And by the way, let me just finish. Hold on. What he also must be credited for is probably helping the president get elected. In my opinion, that was good. Thank you, Mr. Christie.
Well, who knows? Maybe he's going to be Secretary of the Interior.
You need a lot of interior when
that's right. You need a lot of. But this leads me to one thing that I heard from some very, very unreliable sources. And that was.
This is good. Well, I'm glad the Republican admits it. They've been getting
very,
all
very,
this stuff
very,
anyway.
very unreliable sources. But the Democrats were working in NOAA. Sandy was actually something that was plotted, planned, and executed by the Democratic Party. Did you know that?
You know, there are people who say that.
That's right.
There are people who say that.
It's the same people who say that the Twin Towers were not brought down by airplanes.
Yeah. Also, while we're on that, people saying things, I'm on Facebook, and I leave my page open. I don't really comment too much. I want Republicans and Democrats to come in and to use it. I don't want them to be attacked. I want to see what everybody's saying. Today it started, or I should say yesterday it started. The Republicans, the Democrats are dumb, they're ignorant, they're stupid, they're no better than animals, and those are the nice things that are said. And I just wrote, as I said, I don't do much. I wrote, we won fairly, be honorable, and don't be a loser. Of course, that inspired about a dozen more people to tell me to screw off. But this is awful. Also, I'm going to put in, I think somebody did put in, this is one of the reasons why a lot of Republicans voted for the Democratic president, because these are nutcases. Nutcases. And now even the Republicans can turn around because these people are no longer trying to elect a president or a congressman or a senator. All they're doing now is showing their energy of hate. It is awful. You're seeing it. Tell me some of the stuff you saw.
Well, I am. I saw a few things, but one of the things that bothered me the most was and this is my own party. I think this is time over the next few months for a tremendous amount of Republican soul searching about where the Republican Party is going at the state and national level and what it is we stand for. And I'm not going to do that right now. But one of the things that I did see that really bothered me was people, their primary goal, and I'm talking about Republicans, and I'm talking about here in Nashua, some of them at least, the primary goal was we've got to get rid of Obama. We've got to get rid of Obama. And that was the mantra. And it was our mantra, whatever the hell it is.
Mantra.
And that, it wasn't, we stand for this, we stand for that. We've got to get rid of Obama. And that is a horrible way to base a political argument.
You made a good point, and these are the people now who are online. They're not going after anybody well, I shouldn't say that. They're going after Obama, okay. It is so mean-spirited. It is so awful. I believe that Facebook have about probably 100 people there. When things pop up, they're just taking them off. It's that bad. It's awful. One thing, and I think this is important for the Republicans, I mean, because they can get the footage. If you take a look at the Democratic convention for the presidency, and the Republican convention for the presidency, and they panned across all the people, Republicans and Democrats. Republicans, white,
yep,
look pretty wealthy to me. If you don't get into those conventions without doing something, let me finish.
I'm ticking off things that I agree with you. That's not one of them, but go ahead. I certainly white.
Yeah, certainly white.
Yeah.
Completely, totally different. Now you go over to the Democrats, and my God, it looked like a party. It really looked like they're having a good time.
Yeah.
I mean, to me, they looked a little out of hand, but you saw black, you saw a lot of women, a lot of black women. You saw, Hispanic, obviously white of all ages, and white of wealth and not so wealth. And when I took a look at that, I said, geez, what a difference there is. The Republican Party, and I've said it before, got hijacked. You guys got hijacked. And I said this, I've said this before on the air. You got hijacked, and us Democrats just rescued the Republican Party by beating you this time around. Because all you have to do is show the film of the Democratic convention and the Republican convention, and you will see what the Republicans need to do. And that is go multi-people, everyone. And the Republicans just didn't do that. So we rescued you. So you ought to be thankful. You're going to have a little time off, a lot of Republicans, but we got your hijacked party away from the nutcases. And if you don't think there are nutcases, go on to Facebook and take a look at what's going on.
Well,
Not a bad speech, huh?
No, that's
I thought
great.
that was good,
and that
yeah.
was, you know, you sort of came up with that spontaneously. And
I did.
And you know what? I pretty much agree with that. And here's what I agree with. I'm thinking back to, you know that I spent most of my life as a Democrat. And the only reason I changed my party registration 3 years ago was because I'm deeply troubled and concerned about fiscal issues in the state and in the country. I also tend to vote, I'm more of a Democrat on social issues than some of the Democrats. But I'm pissed. And what I'm pissed about, I think I can say it.
At Republicans. You can say pissed. We've said it before.
If I say it about
Actually,
Republicans.
in some, by law, we probably could run around nude. I mean, I think there's a city law that you can't, but I think if we fought it in court, we could sit here nude. Because that's what public access basically is, nutcases. But we got clothes on, but we're nutcases.
You really want our viewership to go south. Okay,
so pissed is okay.
All right. I am angry with, not with the voters, and I'm serious. I'm going to say this a lot. The voters are right. They are never wrong in this respect. They vote what they feel, whether we feel that they're being led in one direction or another. And I don't think that was the case here. I think people voted what they thought was the right way to go. I want my party back, and I say that I'm a Republican.
Now, you agree that it was hijacked?
I want my.
Will you use the word hijack?
Not yet.
I think you should use it
wait a
right
second.
now.
No, I'm not going to use
right now.
No, I'm not going to use the word hijack right now.
Oh, God. What do we have to do, Democrats? I like the guy.
What I am going to say is, and I may use it, I want to take that party back. I was brought up in Massachusetts with people like Saltonstall and Brooke, and these are old names that people our age are going to remember. But these were people who were fiscally responsible, socially liberal. They cared, they compromised, they worked together, they got things done. They could sit down with their Democratic colleagues after. It's like O'Neill. You know, O'Neill could sit down with the counterparts and after all was said and done, and they'd have a drink together and they'd talk. And it's like you and I differ on a lot of things, but you and I can sit down
let's
talk.
Let's stay to New Hampshire because no state lost more than New Hampshire lost. We're very large. We're 400. To lose 297 or to say only to have 103. We lost more than anyone.
Well,
okay?
it flipped. It flipped the way.
No. And over in the history of the legislature.
You mean 2 years ago?
No, yes. In the history of the legislature, this last 2 years has been so difficult for a Democrat that historically it will go down in history right now that the last 2 years were awful for Democrats. Now, what happened was you guys came in and you didn't come in on fiscal issues to win.
Well, wait a minute. Wait.
No, I'm going to finish my...
Don't do this. Don't point at me with these you guys.
All right. We'll just say. No, the majority of the people came in on federal issues. If I heard Pelosi's name once, I heard it 1,000,000 times by people in the state running for a representative's office. And I'm going, what the hell does that got to do with New Hampshire? It was smart because New Hampshire was not in bad shape, David. It really wasn't. So what happened, these fruitcakes, and I'm going to call them fruitcakes now, these fruitcakes came in and tried to write federal law. And we're sitting around up there going, you can't write federal law. That's not, you don't get it. That's how you got in here. That's not, you got to take care of the state. And you know how many bills were put down. There were a lot of bills were put down. And
like a horse with a broken leg.
Absolutely, like the 4 rabbits and a chicken. Anyway,
Yeah.
all right? So that's how bizarre it was.
Mm-hmm.
But it worked. 297 to 103, and here we're sitting up there saying, these jerks are trying to write federal law. And then physically I was pushed. Intellectually I was slapped around. I told you about that in one committee meeting. Here's a guy sitting to me. He's a right-wing, crazy person. And he's saying something, and I'm saying something. He says something, I say something. And he says to the chair, Mr. Chair, we're Republicans. We have the majority in here. Why should we let him speak? And I turned around and I said, I think it's called democracy. And the whole place went nuts. That's the fruitcakes you guys had up there.
Kenny, I've been trying to do that with you for the last 3 or 4 months.
Which is what?
Why do I let this guy speak?
Pardon me?
Why do I let you speak?
No. It's good. And by the way, let us get something straight too. The pendulum went that way.
Mm-hmm.
Up here, New Hampshire didn't. The Republican Party was hijacked. Now one can say that, and it was true. It was hijacked. That's not going to happen again. Next time you're going to work with state issues, you're not going to try to go federal to get elected, because you end up with fruitcakes up there.
I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
Well, you're here. You have an opportunity.
Well,
we have an opportunity as doing the show is to
Yep.
bring Republicans in here and talk to them. And of course, we got Socrates.
That's
wise.
true.
Who knew?
Saki knew.
Talkie knew.
Saki knew. Yeah, that's right. And he's, and you know how he knew? It's the bump. The bump got bigger as we got closer to the election, and now it's getting a little smaller.
Actually, when you take a look at it, it's really a clump of hair. He looked very odd. He was one of those guys all bald with a piece of hair coming down like that.
Well, hair comes down.
Was that
on the
like
side
hippie?
here. Did he have hair? Like a tonsure
a
there?
guy like this, today would probably have him drink hemlock.
That's right.
And in those days, they made him
drink hemlock.
All great people are killed.
I realize.
Did you know that?
All great people are.
Name Jesus Christ.
Superstar.
Murdered. Gandhi. Gandhi.
Or
murdered.
executed. Gandhi was murdered.
Socrates.
Socrates committed suicide.
Well, he had to. It was either drink the hemlock or we'll spear you to death.
Well, hemlock's probably
the better way to go.
But I just noticed something. Saki's the only one now with a beard on the show.
Oh, yeah, let's get to that beard. What happened to that beard?
Well, a couple of things happened. One of them, I started growing it. I retired 4 years ago, and I started growing it shortly after I retired.
Because you were mad because you couldn't grow beards?
Well, no, not because. It just felt like I was sort of changing, and my wife hated it. And here, this shows you how dumb I am. Here I am for 3 years plus with a beard, and my wife says, I don't like kissing you because of the beard. It scratches. And we still did a lot of kissing. And finally, I got to the point where I was starting to get tired of it. And a couple of months ago, and I thought, yeah, it's time to let it go. And I thought, well, I'll wait until after the election, just to because I've got all my pictures.
Yeah, you don't want to, you don't want to think that you're trying to change your image.
It's like putting
a
red nose.
David
No, God, no, we
his
don't want
image.
to change our image. So last night, I went into the bathroom and I got the electric clippers out, and I clipped it away, and I took a shower, and I have skin under here, and I came out, and my wife said, oh, God, you look younger. I like that. So
Woo, did she kiss you?
She did, and we've actually rubbed cheeks a little bit.
Oh, wow.
I have to, now here's the thing.
There you go. Now, you got to pay attention to her.
I like to think that I do.
And I got to pay attention to my wife, because what these two ladies went through. And by the way, up in Concord, we would see men who would say, and by the way, my wife has got the insurance, and my wife is, supporting me up here. So that was quite interesting. But
And we also saw men up there who said, my divorce is due in part to the fact that I'm up here. I know some of the senators. I talked with one in particular who said it was a big part of his divorce.
I was talking to somebody about commerce, and I was talking about, and we've talked about this before, I was talking about changing the complete laws for corporation laws. And they bring it in, and they basically want us to put it on the House floor so they can, all right? And this is like, they want us to do this in like 3 days. Mm-hmm. 3 days to the whole corporation laws. So I said no, and a lot of people said, let's hold off. So I ran over and I got some information. And what they changed, some of the stuff that they changed was taking rights away from the stockholders. All right, mm-hmm. Make it easy for the stockholders to do a lot of things without, the management. And I brought it back. And I brought it back, and that stopped it for a year. Nobody realizes that myself and a few other people stopped that from happening. We up here don't get credit for anything. But to have the knowledge to figure this all out is not something that's easy. Change all the corporation laws, then you got to learn what are the corporate laws.
So are you using this as
I'm trying to use this to say that a lot of people do so much work that they take so much time away from their own families.
Right. And are you also using it to say that people meaning voters, don't necessarily appreciate or perhaps appreciate
no, they
so
don't.
They have no idea what we do.
We have no way of people thinking that that's important. Mm-hmm. You know, it's interesting, but in the committees, a lot of things are stopped.
Thank God.
All right, thank God. And a lot of things go through. And it's with the committee is it, and then it gets out on the floor. And then there's, in some cases, a floor fight. But unless it gets out of the committee with a very good standing, like maybe 17-2, all right, there's a good chance if it was 17 no and 2 yes, it's a good chance it's not going to pass. And this law was so bad. Imagine changing laws and taking the rights away from stockholders. The rights away from stockholders. And why would I home in on that is because I was on the committee that studied FRM, the largest Ponzi scheme in the history of the state. So they screwed a lot of stockholders. So that's where my brain was. But, and it's done. I guess what I'm saying, A, nobody gets credit for it, but B, you said that you knew people who got divorced because of this. It's a lot of work. It's
because of the time that they put into it and you know, the pressure on their marriage. Let me ask you a question, because we've only got a few minutes left here, 15 minutes left. And by the time this show airs, before the next show airs, you're going to have a Democratic caucus. You're going to elect a speaker candidate. You're going to elect, or may elect, a majority leader. I don't know whether that's going to be appointed or elected. And the Republicans are going to do the same. Tell me a little bit about what's going on with the contest for Speaker of the Democratic Party in the House of Representatives.
Well, the former Speaker was Norelli, okay?
Speaker for 2 terms and minority leader for the last term.
Yeah, Speaker for 2 terms. In the last term, she is supposed to be responsible. A great deal of it is for the Democratic Party in many cases. I mean, she's there with the people. When it became 297 to 103, she should have stepped down.
Okay.
She should have said, okay, it's not that I made a mistake, but it was under my watch.
So, okay.
You should bow out. Like, we may talk about your speaker, but we may not. And she didn't. And then, it being the worst time in the history of politics for Democrats, you need somebody strong there. And the strongest person that helped the Democrats, who made the largest noise, who stopped people from, in a sense, discriminating against the Democrats, was a Republican.
Who was that?
You know who he was? The writer, remember when they took 3 people to get him out of the room and he wouldn't leave and he said something?
Oh, you're talking about Steve Valancourt.
I'm glad you said the name. From Manchester.
And he who was reelected, just barely.
Yeah, he stuck up for the Democrats because the Democrats were talked down and talked down to and really completely treated poorly. And everybody went, ugh. Where was our speaker? I mean, our minority leader. She should have been up there like a crazy person. Well, now she's running again. And we are trying to get David Campbell, who is from Nashua.
Who's a Nashua guy?
And that means it's like 170 years or 80 years that we have had a speaker down here. It's really important. But
and Terry is from where? Portsmouth or?
Yeah, she's up on the the coastline, and she really doesn't connect with Nashua. I don't even know how many times she's even been in Nashua. And the other thing, as Speaker or former Speaker Norelli, who's running again for Speaker, made about $120,000 she brought into her campaign for $200 a year. Out of that money, do you think that she did anything for the 6 Democrats in the state, in the city of Nashua? And you've got to say, yes, she did. She did to Cindy Rosenwald, who's on her side, and one other Democrat who I will not mention. She helped the people who are on her side, who will help her get reelected. But us Democrats, if we're going to elect her or not, could have lost the race. So she didn't really care about Democrats. We have to change that. If she would have said, I'm not going to give you any money for your campaign, but I'm going to have all the Democrats on a nice glossy sheet or card and sent out to the entire city of Nashua, which probably would have cost $2,500 out of $125,000.
And the Republicans did do that. The Republican Party did send things out locally for Republican state representative candidates. They made an independent mailing that I knew nothing about beforehand.
Can you imagine that? And when you get somebody, and by the way, remember that what happened with Valancourt? This was quite a thing that made the news, front pages, etc. When your speaker, O'Brien, needed some help to handle Valancourt, he called on David Campbell, which David Campbell went, what? What's going on? And he called 2 Republicans, and they went up to where the speaker is, and the speaker basically says, you got to get him out of here. Either that, we're going to bring the state police in. Okay. And the state police were standing, about 10 feet away. And so when you get somebody like your speaker, who everybody thinks is an evil rascal, when you get somebody who calls upon one person that he trusts, who is trying to go across lines to a degree, well, who else would you have as speaker?
Well, that's interesting. Now, we didn't have this when I was up there doing this 2 years ago, but what happens, let's say Terry has a majority of the Democrats and David has a substantial minority. Is it possible that enough Republicans might cross the aisle to elect David?
I think you can only put one up. I'm not sure exactly how it works because we haven't been in this territory before. But I can tell you what's going to happen if Terry Norelli gets in. She's very vindictive. Very vindictive. She put me, and we talked about this, in the last seat. In other words, the first seat is where she says, the last seat is about as far away as you can get, with Republicans in front of me, Republicans inside of me, and Republicans behind me. I was the last seat. I don't know what she's going to do with me now. if I go against her. She's so vindictive. And she wouldn't talk to me. But, they don't, guess what? Occasionally I have some good ideas. And
That's the rumor.
right. And I think she should have gone. I think Pelosi should have gone too.
Mm-hmm.
I just think at that particular point. But this is the thing. And by the way, I'm not making this up. This is done by women. Okay. So I'm not saying this. This was told to me by a woman.
He's about to
No,
do
I'm
it
not.
now.
I am not. Because I voted for a lot of these women who are now going to Washington. We have a governor who's a woman.
We do.
We have all our, state people who are going to Washington.
All of our federal
women,
representatives are
and
female.
they're
yeah.
using as their slogan, let's have one more woman up in the House of Representatives. And I'm going, what has that got to do with anything? We need, as Democrats, somebody who's going to fight for us. Somebody who's going to do something for us.
You mean as opposed to fight with you?
Yeah, well, I might as well become a Republican. I mean, last year I was treated so poorly, and I just did one of the things I told you. Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, the election is over, and I'm still working on a committee, the Liquor Commission, and I'm trying to fight Republicans not to make stupid laws against the commission simply because the Liquor Commission makes $600 million a year, and Republicans want to tell them how to place wine upon the shelves? I don't think so. So you can imagine how much they love me up there because I make it that clear. And I wish I would have thought about the 4 rabbits and 1 chicken. I may use that. But that's the stuff we do. You too, on your child, in your last. This is the stuff we do. We get nothing for it.
Well, I'll tell you, now this is the job that I have, and I'm about to be leaving, is the best job I've ever had. It's the one I've enjoyed the most. As I say, the pay is lousy, and that's fine. But I've had a ball doing this. I have felt honored to do this, and the fact that I lost re-election only makes me value more what it is I have done. And I don't know whether I'm going to, run for office in the future.
You're coming back.
Well, we'll see.
There
is a great history in this state about people running, being elected, being thrown out, being elected again. All sorts of people have done that. And so I'm not ruling anything out. But it has been a tremendous honor, and I would urge anybody who has an interest in politics to consider doing this. It's a wonderful, wonderful educational experience and a wonderful way to serve. Now, that's...
And may ask them a few questions, and if they can only answer in the United States of America and not the United State of New Hampshire, don't elect them. Because we just saw what happens when you elect people who think they can change federal laws.
Yeah,
that's awful.
But the system worked, and here's how it worked.
The system did not work this time around.
Well, can I?
It did not work this time around.
Here is how I think it worked. 2 years ago, there was a groundswell by the voters who said, for whatever reason and whatever their articulation or reasoning, change. And there was a tremendous change, and the biggest part of it was at the tail end of the ticket, which is the House of Representatives, and to a lesser extent the Senate. And the same thing has occurred, but on a smaller scale this time around. We are the tail that gets wagged by the dog, whether it's the state dog, the governor's race, or whether it's the federal dog.
You're not the tail. You're a quarter of the entire dog.
No.
We were the fleas on the tail of the dog.
Well, but what I'm saying is the House of Representatives. Very few people go specifically to vote for a member of the House of Representatives. In Ward 9, there were 47 600 people voted out of 6,000 because there were a lot of registrations. There were over 3,500 blank spots where people did not vote for 3 representatives.
Shame on them.
Well, no, I'm not.
Shame on them.
No, because they knew nothing about us.
Shame.
And that's
Shame.
no, Ken, that's our responsibility.
Were
That's our
they
responsibility.
Republicans
no
that they
idea.
didn't sign on?
I have
Was
no
it
idea.
Republicans who did? Think about it. Republicans who voted for Romney but would not vote for Republican
I have no
representatives?
I have no idea, and there's no way to scientifically.
No, well, I think we can say there was maybe quite a few Republicans who didn't want a lot of people back.
Right.
They didn't want Republicans back.
Right. Well, let's just say
Republicans didn't want Republicans back because
we're not
their
ideologically
party
pure.
was,
We're not ideologically
the
pure.
party was hijacked. Tea Party, Free Staters. Is there one more we could think of? The Libertarians, who all got together.
What the hell's wrong with the Libertarians?
Nothing. No, nothing. But they needed power, so they went with the Tea Party. And the Free Staters, which, I hate to say this, but that's almost like a Kansas to the state of New Hampshire, the Free Staters, because their job is to take over the state of New Hampshire. That's their job, and that's what they seem like they're doing. Wow. This is what you had in your party. When you have a caucus,
yep.
and that means the whole group of Republicans all get together to talk about strategy. But before this happens, 125 got together alone who are in this particular group and had another caucus. Mm-hmm. Then they moved into the big caucus. That is almost unheard of. Well, that's not unheard of, but those 3 groups getting together and working like that, that's almost unheard of.
Well, one of the things that I think history will show, and it certainly happened, as the majority gets larger, it tends to break into factions more. I think that what we will see is the Republicans will be a little bit more cohesive and disciplined, and the Democrats this time around will have a greater tendency to, because they do have the ability to control the legislative agenda in the House, to argue among themselves, not nearly to the degree that has happened this last 2 years.
It's not going to, no. I don't think, I think there'll be a lot of arguing if we don't get a new speaker. Oh, jeez.
Well, that's going to be one of the fun things.
That is awful.
What are we, before we go down another road?
$125,000, and she couldn't spend money on the Democrats here in the city of Nashua, at least to put out on a nice glossy card who the Democrats are, in Ward 6.
Yep.
All right? And what we went through in the last 2 years, because history will show these last 2 years, history will show this has been the worst time for Democrats in the history of government in the state of New Hampshire. And that's how we were treated by that person, who's a Democrat.
And this might be the time to bring ourselves, I believe we're up to time, is that correct?
No, we actually have about 2 minutes.
I was thinking this would be a wonderful way to close on.
Because you wanted to make a speech.
No. I just thought you made a great point, and there are all sorts of things I want to talk about, but I don't want to get into something
big.
I don't want to get into something big now, so I'll get into something petty. My blog on Nashua Patch is titled "Inside a State Representative's Head," and then in parentheses, "Enter at your own risk."
Yeah.
What the hell am I going to call it now?
Same thing. What difference does it make?
I won't be a state representative.
It doesn't make any difference. You're a state. You're in the state. You represent the state.
I represent.
You represent the state of mind, of New Hampshire.
Well, I also represent my state of mind, I guess.
There you go.
Can I?
My state of mind.
Maybe, and I'm going to ask you for permission. Maybe I should title it "4 Rabbits and a Chicken."
4 rabbits and a chicken sound good to me. I'm telling you, that might work.
I think you should copyright that somehow.
Well,
somebody tried to copyright three-peat, as opposed to repeat when they were going for a national championship. It's the guy who was
I wouldn't try to do that. Silver lost.
Oh.
Avard lost.
Yep.
McGinnis lost.
Yep. Robbins lost.
Robbins lost.
Carl Seidel lost.
Kyle Seidel.
Everybody, except for the only people who won, there were two incumbent Republicans who won, Don LeBrun,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to think of, oh gosh, I can't remember his name, Krukut.
Hurry up.
No, I can't. Well,
Okay.
and David Murataki was elected.
Okay.
Yes.
We want a drum roll. Ladies and gentlemen, New Hampshire is also going to make history. We, as Democrats, have elected a lady who is 97 years old, Angie Kopka. What do you think of that?
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
As long as she gets a hearing aid, I'll give her a ride. I used to give her rides. I was the one who chauffeured her around. I'm happy for her. I mean, that's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, well, that's good. That's good.
Okay,
you know what?
I got the news. I'm going to give you the last word.
All right, and you know
You'll get the last word because
okay,
we're going to end it.
Ken, I'm happy for you. I genuinely am. I'm gonna miss being up there, but I'm gonna get into different things, and I'm planning on being right here. Don't know what the future holds. I'm looking forward to working with you. I'm looking forward to verbally kicking your ass on a regular basis.
Yeah.
And having fun. And having fun is the most important thing.
And we must really make this very clear that we were discriminated against. We asked a lot of people to come on this show, Republicans and Democrats, and they wouldn't come on our show because there's a Republican and a Democrat. And you know what I said to them? That's what I said.
And you know why they didn't come on? Because they were scared poopless.
That's right.
They thought, oh my God, I might actually have to answer a question.
Goodbye.
Hey, take care. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.